going on, Blazers? My name is Jongasm, and today I'm bringing you guys another episode of TV Trivia. Today we're talking about a show that I consider a classic, Spongebob. I've got quite a lengthy list to share with you, 37 secrets in total, so let's get started now. While the creator of Spongebob, Stephen Hillenburg, was a director for Rocko's Modern Life, he showed the show's writer a comic book that he made while he was in college titled The Intertidal Zone. The writer, Martin Olson, loved it and suggested that Steve rewrite the comic as an underwater cartoon. That is how Spongebob was created. Steve is also a marine biologist, and he presented the idea for Spongebob to Nickelodeon in kind of a strange way. He brought a fish tank into the boardroom and was explaining everything that lived inside the fish tank. Then he placed a cartoon illustration of SpongeBob into the fish tank and said, "This is SpongeBob, the star of your new show." Out of all of these shows that Nickelodeon aired in the 1990s, SpongeBob is the only one that's still on today. So accepting Steve's weird proposition was probably the best decision that the Nickelodeon execs made in the 90s. Every episode of SpongeBob is 11 and a half minutes exactly. Squidward is usually the character to break down the fourth wall and make a reference to this fact. There's an episode titled Nature Pants where SpongeBob leaves his life in Bikini Bottom to start a new life with nature. After he leaves, Sandy and Squidward are talking and Sandy says, "I'll give him a week," while Squidward says, "I'll give him 11 minutes. Technically, Squidward won the bet because the episode was only 11 minutes long. Originally, SpongeBob was created wearing a green baseball cap, and his name wasn't even going to be SpongeBob. The original name for him was Spongeboy, but Spongeboy was trademarked. The title doesn't really translate super well to other countries though. The German title for the show is SpongeBob Schwammkopf. Roughly translated, that means SpongeBob Squarehead. In Korea, SpongeBob is called Square Square Sponge or Square Square Sponge Song. In Mexico, the show is called Bob España, which does actually translate to SpongeBob. Despite SpongeBob's last name being SquarePants, all of his relatives except for Stanley are round. Mr. Krabs' date of birth is the 30th of November, 1942. Fun fact about my life, my dad actually has that same birthday. I don't know about the year, but definitely the day. SpongeBob's birthday is July 14th, 1986. SpongeBob's first words when he was born on that day were, "May I take your order?" Thinking about it though, that doesn't really make sense because the joke is that since birth he was meant to work at the Krusty Krab, but he doesn't even ask for people's orders at the Krusty Krab. I'm literally just realizing this now as I'm recording this video. Anyways, to make SpongeBob's iconic laugh, his voice actor Tom Kenny hits his throat repeatedly while saying "ah." So it's like, "ah." Tom Kenny said he came up with the idea for the voice when he heard an angry dwarf yelling. I don't know what that means. Tom Kenny's wife is also the voice actress for Plankton's computer wife, Karen, who is named after creator Steve Hillenburg's wife. Wife. Patrick was noticeably bigger on season 1, but apparently throughout the series he's sort of slimmed down. That's probably because he stopped blaming his genetics and started making healthy life choices. SpongeBob lives at 124 Conch Street, while Mr. Krabs lives at 3541 Anchor Way. Mermaid Man's invisible boatmobile is a 1959 Cadillac. Mr. Krabs' boat is called the SS Cheapskate. Mr. Krabs' first name is Eugene, and his enemy Plankton's first name is Sheldon. Despite being enemies now, Eugene and Sheldon were actually best friends when they were kids. Obviously, a lot of their rivalry stems from them owning their two restaurants, the Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab. Speaking of which, let's talk about some Krusty Krab facts. The Krusty Krab siren is identical to the siren used in the Shawshank Redemption. According to concept art, the Krabby Patty was originally going to be named the Barnacle Burger. The location of the Krusty Krab changes in various episodes. Sometimes it's to the left of SpongeBob's house, and sometimes it's to the right. And there actually is a real Krusty Krab restaurant in the Palestinian city, Ramallah. Let's move on and talk about some of the regularly occurring gimmicks that happen through the show. For example, whenever havoc is wreaked, you almost always hear a man scream, "My leg!" amongst the chaos. Also, almost every time a character throws something, you hear glass breaking. Frequently, a French accented voice comes on to narrate the passage of time. I never knew this, but apparently this is an homage to Jacques-Yves Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau was a leading influence on the show's creator, Steve Hillenburg, and on his interest in marine biology. The underwater boy band Boys Who Cry cry is actually a parody of the Jonas Brothers. SpongeBob is ambidextrous, which means he can write with both hands. Also, his favorite color is beige and his favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla. You might not have guessed it, but Patrick Star apparently went to a community college. And if it were up to Obama, he wouldn't have been in any debt from furthering his education. Thanks, conservatives. A lot of the time, when Mr. Krabs is scared or surprised, he shouts the phrase, "Mother of Pearl." I never realized why that's funny though. It's funny because he's actually the father of a whale named Pearl, and to this day we still don't know who her mother is. Now this next fact is pretty obvious, but I included it for a very special reason. Despite being a show for children, violence and adult humor are featured in many episodes. I included this fact because since I was a kid, there's been a rumor going around that SpongeBob was originally supposed to air on Adult Swim as an adult cartoon. However though, there is no truth to this matter. The idea for SpongeBob was conceived in 1997. I think the first episode aired in 1999, and Adult Swim wasn't even created until 2001. According to the simpletons that share this fake fact, SpongeBob and Patrick were supposed to be a gay couple, Sandy was supposed to be a whore, and Mr. Krabs was supposed to be a Jew. So pretty much playing off of exclusively negative stereotypes. Don't get me wrong, I have a sense of humor and I will laugh at all stereotypes because there's a reason stereotypes exist. That being said, no studio is going to accept a show where the foundation for the humor is based off of all really offensive stereotypes because that just isn't funny after a while. Then again, maybe people thought that's why Adult Swim rejected it. Either way, this fact is not true, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I feel like this rumor may have originated from Spike TV approaching the creator Steve Hillenburg and asking if they could do an adult version of the show for their animation block. Their adult version of the show is going to be very similar to Ren and Stimpy, but Steve refused to allow him to do it. Nickelodeon also refused to sell them the rights. And that, you guys, was the final bit of trivia that I'm sharing with you today. Hope you learned yourself something. As always, don't forget to hit that rate button with a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is there any more SpongeBob trivia that I forgot to share? Also, don't forget, if you want to be notified every time I upload a video, you can hit that subscribe button down below. I have at least one episode from either my Secrets of Cinema series or my TV trivia series coming out every week. And as always, I've got links to all of my social media accounts. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in the description down below. If you consider yourself a super fan, go give those a like or follow. Thank you guys so much for any support you can give me, and also thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you soon. Blaze for life.